Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to ElliiCon 2022. We are thrilled to have you here with us today to kick off our second annual conference, and we hope you plan on staying with us all day today and all day tomorrow so you can see all of the great guest speakers that we have lined up for you this year. My name is Lise. I am the Social Engagement Manager here at Ellii, and I will be your host throughout this conference. So, before we get started, I just want to take this opportunity to show you some of the cool features that we have here in AirMeet that you can use and interact with our speakers throughout the conference. So first of all, I'd like to draw your attention to the View Schedule button that's up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Make sure to check that out and see all of the cool sessions that we've got lined up. On the right-hand side, we also have our chat area. I see most of you guys have already found that. You can interact with our speakers over there throughout the event. We will also have a Q&A section. You're not going to see that right now, but in other sessions, we will have a Q&A section, and that's where you can post your questions specifically for our speakers. In addition, we will also have a survey tab. You'll see that coming up very soon. Okay, guys, last but not least, we have a full screen button. If you find that the speakers are a little bit too small, you can click on that full screen button and make it larger. Okay, guys, we are going to begin our fun and casual coffee talk today with 4 members of our publishing team. Our publishing team at Ellii creates the content that is the heart and soul of Ellii, and hopefully is used by many of you guys in the audience. So please help me welcome Tara, Tanya, Anne, and Jen, and make sure to join in the conversation in the chat. Thanks, guys. Publishing team, over to you.
Thank you so much, Lise. That was a great introduction. Can't believe it's been a full year since we saw all of you at our first conference, our ESL Library virtual conference. And this year we're Ellii, so we're so excited. It's our first Ellii conference, but our second annual virtual conference. So welcome, everybody. We're starting the same way we started last year, just with a really informal coffee talk chat with the publishing team. We'll be here today, this morning, and tomorrow morning as well. Same way. So a coffee talk is just a really informal way to get things kicked off. And we're going to keep it really informal and simple, just like the theme of our conference. So it's a place for us to get to know you, for you to get to know us, some of the people behind the scenes at Ellii, and just to set the theme. So the theme this year is simplicity, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Last year we talked about grammar and social emotional learning. This year we're talking about simplicity and creativity, which are topics that I absolutely love, and I hope you love them too. One of the reasons that we chose simplicity as our theme for this year was because of last year. So we all got together and we were chatting about last year, and we were thinking about what went really well. And the thing that went the best was having a single stream, we thought. So we talked about changing that up, and we were all saying, no, that was the best part, because everybody was here, everybody was chatting and getting to know each other in all the different ways, but also in the sessions. And so there's no choices to make. And that's one of the big things about simplicity is cutting back the choices. So we went with that again. And also another reason was just, it's been a difficult couple years. Teachers are experiencing burnout, students are experiencing the same, and edtech teams as well, publishing teams, we also are feeling that kind of burn and ready for something simple and light. And our new name, Ellii, it seemed to fit perfectly with that. So right now I can give you a definition of simplicity that I heard in a podcast that I was listening to this week to kind of inspire us when we were thinking about it. So you can put a definition in the chat if you have your own definition, but for Jeremy Godwin, who has a podcast called Let's Talk About Mental Health, his definition is simplicity, making things straightforward, uncomplicated, and easy. So I really love that definition, and I think for teachers that's so important, but also for developers, designers, and materials writers, all of us here at this conference. It's just a really important thing to remember. And at Ellii, it's always been our mission to make teachers' lives easier. So right from the beginning, that's what we always wanted to do. I've been with Ellii, formerly ESL Library, for 16 years. And our slogan when I started was, I don't know if anyone remembers it, but just hit print. Now that's pretty simple. That's all teachers wanted. They wanted just materials, ready-made materials. And Tanya and I actually used to work together at a school that had a really horrible resource library. And so I remember being really excited to be able to provide more resources for teachers and teachers that needed it. So just hit print was what teachers wanted back then. And, you know, as things changed, the needs of teachers changed a lot and things got a little bit more complex, especially during the pandemic. Well, all the needs and requirements and things that teachers were asking for, it just, you know, made things a little bit more difficult, way more choices, things that students needed and teachers needed. So we're just kind of scaling back now and thinking about, you know, all these things that we built and designed and put into Ellii over the last few years. What do we need to do? How can we make it easier for teachers to find what they need, which is still, you know, our core value. So yeah, and yesterday, just yesterday, this happened. A teacher wrote into us and she was begging us for stickers, physical stickers. She wanted, she found some stickers at a conference that she had been at and she collected them. It was some Ellii swag and they were so adorable, designed by our very own illustrators. And she sent us a message and just said, oh, I ran out of Ellii stickers and I always give them to cheer people up. And she was like, I really would love some more stickers. And you know, teachers, since most of us at Ellii, a lot of us are former teachers or still teachers, we were like, oh, how can we get her some stickers? You know, this isn't the typical request we get from teachers. So we were super excited to fill that need. And within 10 minutes, I think they had decided who has the stickers and how can we get them to her. So I think that's it for simplicity to start us off. But I'd love for you all to introduce yourselves in the chat. I think many of you have already. We're going to introduce ourselves in a simple way by sharing a simplicity hack. So I'm going to start off and I'll introduce myself with my simplicity hack. And I hope you will also do that. If you've already introduced yourself, you can share a simplicity hack from home or the workplace, or maybe a combined workplace home hack or a camping hack, any kind of simplicity hack you want to share. So for me, I'm Tara. I'm in Windsor, Ontario. I'm the head of the publishing team. I've been here 16 years, as I mentioned. My simplicity hack is related to Immersive Reader. So Immersive Reader is a tool that we have on Ellii. It's a Microsoft tool. It's embedded into all of our reading tasks. And you can listen to the reading as you read along. There's lots and lots and lots of features in there. But as a materials writer, I use it as a proofreader. So when I put an article or reading into Ellii in the back end, I always listen to it using the Immersive Reader because I find that I can hear my mistakes more easily than see them. And so it's just that added extra check before I pass it on to my amazing editors and proofreaders to do the extra work. So that's my little simplicity hack. And now I'm going to introduce some more members of our publishing team, or have them introduce themselves. So we're going to start with Jen. She's going to introduce herself and share her hack.
Thank you very much, Tara. So happy to be here. My name's Jen Artan, and I'm coming to you today from London, Ontario, Canada. So I noticed quite a few teachers are here from Canada, but globally around the world. So I don't want to just say good morning. So it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be from. Welcome, bienvenue, hoş geldiniz. That's about all I can do. Sorry. Nice to see you all here. With Ellii, I am a CLB content writer and presenter. And my simplicity hack, I've got a few. I couldn't narrow it down, but I'll tell you about a couple that I have in the physical classroom. I have to confess, I am a recycle bin dumpster diver. And the reason why is because there's so many resources in the recycling bin that you can bring in and reuse with your students to create craft projects and vision boards and so many other things. And sometimes you actually come across resources that the teachers have tossed away that you think, hey, this is actually pretty useful for me. So my simplicity hack, check out your recycling bin if you're in person, face-to-face. Online makes it a little bit more difficult. But the other simplicity hack that I have to get students' attention, and it always works, in the classroom. It's my little chicken here, right? And when they're not paying attention to you, I like to do one of these things, and at least it gets them to look around and say, what the heck was that noise? So I also bring this to conferences when I'm live, because I train a lot of teachers, and getting teachers to listen to you can be just as difficult as getting students to pay attention. So I do bring my chicken with me when I'm presenting. So if we're face to face, you're gonna see me and the chicken.
You should bring that to our meetings, Jen. I love that. All right. Okay. Thank you. How about Anne? What have you got for us? Introduce yourself and share a simplicity hack.
Good morning. My name's Ann Dixon. I am the U.S. editor here at Ellii. I've been here about 5 years, and I live in Richmond, Virginia, which on a good day, if traffic is not too bad, it's about 2 hours south of Washington, D.C. I have my hack that I wanted to share with you today is more of a work-life balance hack. I know we can all get tied into work and forget about the world outside of work. So what I do, my husband and I look at our calendars each night after dinner, and we find a time in the middle of the day when neither one of us has a meeting, and then we just schedule that time to have a little phone check-in. So the next morning, one of us sets our phone and we call each other at that time of day, and we check in and we keep things in perspective, and we have a little break from work, and it's a really nice way to get that work-life balance.
Oh, that is awesome. That is amazing. I'm inspired. You should do the same. We should all do the same. Set your alarm. For me, I always set my alarms for meetings, but I love this one better. All right, Tanya, let's hear from you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanya Tressler. I'm the Director of Language Development here at Ellii. Been with the company for 10 years now, and I'm out in the west coast of Canada, in Maple Ridge, BC. So it's about an hour from Vancouver. And I have a life hack too. It's not as romantic as Anne's. Mine's about food. So I started using a meal prep service for dinners about a year ago, and I just love it. I find it saves me so much time, and it lets me still cook, which I really enjoy, but it just takes out that terrible decision making, like you said before, Tara. It's nice when you don't have to decide things. It's simpler. So I can pick a few things off the menu online, but I don't have to decide what's for dinner every single night. So I love it, and I highly recommend trying it if you enjoy cooking, but not the shopping and the decision making.
Oh yeah, I've always thought about trying it. It keeps, if I go into my recycling bin, I'm gonna find all those fresh advertisements.
For recycle bin time.
Yeah, I actually just tried one that's called Easy Oats. I don't know if you guys have tried those ones. We learned about them at a yoga retreat this weekend. And you put the oats in a little jar, and then you add almond milk or coconut milk or something, and then fruit and whatever you want. But the milk actually gets the oats prepared, so you don't have to cook them at all. And then you just put everything in the jar, set it overnight, and then in the morning you have this delicious breakfast. So far I'm on like day 3 of Easy Oats. We'll see if it sticks. That's always hard.
You know, you can do it in bulk, because I do it every Sunday. I prep 4 days worth. It lasts for 4 days. I prep 4 days worth at once, and I have breakfast every morning like that. It's healthy and easy. Yeah.
Perfect. Easy Oats. All right.
So I was just wondering if there was any good hacks in the chat to share. I just was going to ask Anne.
Yeah, I've seen a few, Tanya. I saw one that I really liked where the person keeps a running list of resources for each topic. So whenever they come across the topic, they have a list ready to go.
Great.
I have another one here. It says I have a class whenever I am on any device, inside or outside. English prompts are everywhere.
Ooh, yes, very important prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Let's see. Is anybody else ready to share some simplicity hacks?
I see. I need a chicken in the chat. That's awesome.
Everybody needs a chicken. Everybody needs a chicken. What else would you use? Come on.
Yeah. I noticed if you start looking up hacks, then the algorithms will start sending you all sorts of hacks. So I just keep seeing them now. I noticed like some really great camping hacks, and there's
when you say camping hacks, I thought I have to look that up. That sounds great.
There's some amazing ones, like just how to have coffee, at camp, like just using a like filter and like a tea bag kind of thing. There's just so many great ones I hadn't thought of. Yeah.
Here's one that, sorry to interrupt, Tara, but I just wanted to see this one before it disappears. Morgan shared that they remember details about their students' lives so they can ask them questions that will engage them. And it's just so important to get to know your students and to be vested in what they say and to show that you care. And I think that's a great hack. It's just an overwhelming good vibes in the classroom.
Absolutely. And then you can tailor, the content to your students once you know them too. So it makes it more relevant and engaging for them. Yeah, that's a great hack. Yeah.
No, for sure. I use my Alexa as well to set timers, and mentioned using setting a timer on your phone. I just got my Alexa, and I wanted to do something sweet for my husband. I wanted Alexa to remind me to say I love you at a certain time, and I wasn't in the room. My husband was sitting on the couch, and Alexa says, "Reminder, I love you."
Oh, that's awesome. Because my Alexa will alert my husband what we are discussing in the house. So I noticed that he came home one day and said, "Oh, did somebody break a glass?" And I was like, "How did you know?" And he said, "Alexa told me." So yeah.
Relying on you.
You
You guys are so romantic. I have to step up my romance game, I think. You guys are so sweet.
Oh, and Alejandra just shared a great hack. She said, "I teach online and my students never turn on their cameras. When they don't answer, I tell them, 'Are you sleeping?' That usually makes them laugh and become engaged again."
Oh,
I know another one is to ask if they're still in their pajamas. Usually.
Are you sleeping? I love that. Yeah. Any ideas you have for getting students to come on camera would be really great. We do have a blog post that's written for students. We have a section in our blog that's for students specifically, and it's all about the importance of participating. So there's a little simplicity hack for you. Check it out. Share it with your students if you find that they need, some motivation to participate more in class. Our blog is one place that we like to share lots of tips.
And also, if you want to share any tech hacks you have, if tech goes down, what do you do? I know with all these virtual classes going on, sometimes things go a little funky with tech. Does anybody have any great hacks that they do when tech goes down? Jen does.
I got a great one. I was teaching one night way back at the dawn of time. My classroom was in Istanbul, Turkey. That's how I know how to say a bit of Turkish. All our power went out. Everything. We lost all power. Lights even went out. So I'm sitting with my class and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do in this dark classroom? But it was just so amazing. You could see the skyline as the sun was setting. And I asked my students to tell me some of their favorite folk songs. And then they started singing them. So just imagine they were singing their songs and they had to tell me what it meant. So there's the English version. So they're singing these songs to me in Turkish, and in darkness as the sun was setting. We could overlook the Abesh, the big highway, but it was really, really cool. And the power came back on afterwards, but I will never forget that.
Oh, wow. That's a great memory. I love all these teaching memories that we have to share. Anyone else with tech hacks? I think that's something that, everyone is always thinking about, whether it's in class and your tech goes down, or if it's online more often these days and the tech goes down. I know our team probably has a million backup plans for this type of thing. And so we get into that teacher mode of, what do the teachers do?
Mm-hmm. Someone shared, I keep a link to Ellii Conversation Starters handy. That's great. Yeah.
Nice. You can find those in our resource section under warm-ups and fillers. And there's a whole bunch of different ones. You can get ones that are just printable for all those teachers that are always asking us for print resources. And then there's also digital only ones as well that you can share. And there's different levels of conversation prompts. So yeah, you could have a whole lesson sometimes that's just centered around a single question. And again, it comes down to simplicity. Sometimes you just want to, focus on those priorities. What's most important for your students to do? And some of them really just want to focus on their speaking skills. It depends on what your level of your students are and what their needs are. But if they really want to focus on their speaking skills, sometimes just a really good topic is all they need. They might just need the illustration from a discussion starters lesson or a quote from a famous people section to really get chatting. So it's not necessary for you to use the full lesson all the time.
Yeah. So Tara, so that leads into, if you've heard of the unplugged classroom, and just doing, and I think Nick Peachy, one of his topics is going to be listening, intentional listening, and having that kind of like the prompts and really listening to what the students are saying, and then building on that in the classroom. So sometimes you don't really know where it's going to go, and it can go some really interesting places, but it gives students agency. They direct it, and it's something they want to talk about as well. So yeah, that's a great hack. I also like what Akbar said there earlier on about having the teacher sit with the students as opposed to being at the podium, standing in front of the students, standing over the students. Sitting with the students really kind of brings that engagement and the comfort, especially at the beginning, out. So they, people become a little bit more, happy and familiar and talking to each other.
Oh, I love that. That reminds me of a writing class I used to teach that was pretty informal. Long ago, adults, teen to adults, mostly adults, and we would just sit in a circle and we would have a writing prompt to start, every class. And I always did it too, and it was great. And I think everyone just kind of felt like we were all learning together. Yeah, I really love that. Any other teaching hacks related to a specific skill, like reading or pronunciation? Does anyone have any?
I do have to mention one hack that came up when tech goes down. Someone who teaches business classes said they always bring out Monopoly, and the students love it. So
Monopoly?
It's related to the topic, and it's a great way to spend your time when tech goes down.
Nice.
So games are a great thing to have available.
Mhm.
I get to be the dog.
You gotta make it first. Oh, that's great. So what about publishers and edtech developers? What can they do for teachers to make their lives easier? Does anybody in the chat have any ideas? We have some that we're going to share, but if you have any thoughts on, what edtech developers and materials developers and speakers can do to help teachers, please let us know.
Bingo turning into a math lesson. I can see that happening. Nicole mentioned that. I was like, yeah. Sometimes the lessons go off in a different direction, but we're learning language. It's of interest, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's the best thing about an English language classroom is you're always learning language, no matter which way it goes, right?
Someone asked about why we're calling it a coffee talk when there's no coffee, but I think we've all got our coffee mugs.
Get your coffee.
Hopefully you brought yours.
Jen, I love your cup.
Well, it's okay. It's Mom.
You don't have to be perfect when you're simple. It's just keep it simple when your parents.
Sorry, just aim for okay.
Sarcastic teenager. There we go.
Okay, so is everyone ready for us to share some of the things we've been doing at Ellii to try to make teachers' lives a little bit easier? We just have time to share a couple of them. So I think Jen's going to share her screen, and we are each going to just show something that we've kind of been improving this year related to simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the screen should be coming up right about now.
All right. So I'm going to take the first one, and we're going to show you our collections. So one of the reasons that we built the collections area of Ellii was really to help teachers narrow down their choice. Some teachers really are only focusing on, foundational language, grammar, depends on what your level is, but a lot of teachers actually use our grammar lessons exclusively, and that's what they're here for. And other teachers are really just focused on functional English. So this is an area where you can find all of the content that's just for one kind of theme or target. And we've made it just really easy to find, but it's content that comes from all different sections on the site. So what we do behind the scenes that you don't see is we tag all of our lessons, our flashcards, our blog posts, everything with keywords that will help your content come up in search. So if you're looking for something specific, but also it helps the content come up into collections. So for example, if you want to go into our, you could go into one of the grammar ones, simple verb tenses maybe, and you'll see that all of our 338 lessons or our resources are all tagged by simple verb tenses. So you can just go right into simple future. You'll see everything, not just the lessons from your favorite grammar practice worksheets section, but you'll also find blog posts and games and grammar stories and everything that's focused on that target specifically. The same goes for theme-based topics. So holidays, for example, or let's see, what have we got here? Food and dining, back to school. So right now our most popular collection is the back to school collection. And we've tagged all of our content that's related to school with this back to school tag. And then you can also filter by the level or the age or the materials type. So there's a lot of work that goes into getting these collections ready. Just in the back end, our publishing team, bunch of librarians, tagging all of the content very carefully to make sure that it fits into the right spots. And if you ever have a request for a new collection that we haven't thought of yet, please let us know. You're going to be talking to people on our customer service team, and sometimes they send the messages directly to us. So yeah, we're always excited to create a new collection. And yeah, I think a lot of them have come from teachers' requests. So that's mine. And I think Tanya has one to share too.
I do. I'm going to talk about the media gallery, something that we were really excited to launch about, I guess it's been about 6 weeks now. So before we only had our videos housed in a collection, but it was kind of limited because you couldn't see where everything, like what lessons related to the videos, so it was just a little hard. We had limited features there. So now we've made this media gallery. So we have our existing flashcard library on the left there, and then our videos are on the right. So Jen, I'll just get you to click on the videos tab. Thank you. And now we have all our videos in one place, really easy to find. You can explore and browse quite easily now. So it's a lot simpler for you to get to our video content. So we'll just look at an example. I'm just going to get Jen to click on one of the sections there on the left. You can see we have grammar, dialogue, stories and songs, watch and learn, and a new section called silent clips that we're working on. It's real videos from another platform that we use. And Tara's going to write a blog post soon, I think, right, Tara, about how all the ways you can use these clips in class. Yes. But let's go to one of our kind of longer videos. So Jen, can you please click on grammar, the grammar section? And then you'll see that there's categories at the top there. So verb tenses and modals, nouns, pronouns, and articles. So you can easily kind of filter more by using those categories. So Jen, if you click on the last one, sentence constructions, we'll just open up our most recent video, and that was on tag questions. So you can see here the 4 sentence construction ones we have. And then if we go into tag questions, now we're on this landing page where you can see a lot of information really easily. First of all, you can play the video directly from this screen if you want it. So it's really easy. You don't even have to go to the related lessons. So if you're screen sharing online or you're in class projecting this, you can just play right away. It's got a great nav bar. You can see that there's chapters on those blue circles there. Like if Jen hovers on the last blue circle in the play bar, you can see that one is responses.
Questions in English.
Yeah, and as teachers know, our responses to tag questions are really tricky for students. They often don't know how to respond, like in the positive or negative. So that's a handy section. You could just jump right to it if you didn't want to play the whole thing. There's some features on the right there, like you can turn on the closed captioning, you can slow it down or speed it up. There's a chapters list, a full screen option, so handy play bar right there. Underneath that, you have the title and the section that it's in and a level. And then most importantly, you can see the lesson it relates to. So if you want to introduce tag questions in class with this great video presentation, It's a lot more kind of interactive and engaging than just teaching the grammar yourself, maybe. So it's a fun way to present the grammar. Then you can do all the related practice exercises and follow-up activities in our lesson here. Sometimes there's more than one lesson, and this one has just one. So you can click on that and go to it if you wanted. But I'll just point out one more thing, though, before we pass it on to Jen to show us another feature. And that's the more like this. So on the right, you can see all the related videos for the same section. So if you wanted to continue with questions and you wanted to go to WH questions next, you can easily get to that landing page from here. So you can play another video quite quickly. It's kind of set up like YouTube in that way. So very handy. And yeah, we hope you'll love browsing through our video content. So
we're so excited to have this media gallery. We've been waiting quite a long time, the publishing team, and just teachers don't always know where to find the videos. So they didn't always want to go into a lesson and go through all the lesson and find the watch and learn task. So we're all just excited as the teachers.
We were. And now I think Jen's going to show us another feature. So take it away, Jen.
Okay, just give me 1 second and I'm going to share my screen again. So the feature I'm going to talk about is our fantastic new Ellii bot. As a simplicity hack, I think it's one of the most amazing features for teachers. It's going to make grading and responding a whole lot easier. As you know, when we assign digital tasks in our classroom, we have a lot of auto-graded and manually graded activities, such as the vocabulary tasks and the multiple choice and the true-false. But we also have a lot of open-ended questions that require teacher feedback. Well, we're working right now, and this has already been launched. It's a fantastic simplicity hack for teachers. It is our Ellii bot. So for some of the open-ended features, you're going to be able to, Ellii bot will score it for you and will give, based on the suggested answer, it will give a feedback to the student. So the student then gets that instant feedback that they get with the auto-scored and auto-graded activities. Not for all of them right now, just for some of the question types, this is going to happen. And it's really cool. So you can see more about that here on our Ellii page. I just want to scroll in on some. Well, actually, what I can do here is try to make it a little bit bigger. I know the screen is really super tiny. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so what it is the Ellii bot will go in, and based on the suggested answer, the Ellii bot will put in a score for the student to see. Now, the teacher, of course, can always go in and adjust it. So if we're looking at, maybe the student actually did get it right, but they said it in a completely different way that the Ellii bot didn't notice, the teacher can go in and adjust that, change the grade, and add the feedback. So it's really cool. And I think I'll be able to show you. I'll go right to my assignment. I think you can still see the page. So I'm going to go into one and just show you one of the examples that I've done, just to show you what that Ellii bot feedback looks like. Let's go in here. So this is my practice classroom, so don't worry. So a lesson on Queen Elizabeth. So let me just jump in here. So I'm going to jump in to my fictional students. And you can see these are all the tasks that the student has completed. I'm going to scroll down to this open-ended question. And I believe this is one of the ones that was scored by the Ellii bot. So I'm going to click on that little blue, or so the little gray eye, just to show you what that looks like for the teacher. So the student only scored 41%. That's because I was the student, and I was just doing this really quickly. So you can see here, who was Queen Elizabeth's father? Ellii bot scored this as 0 because I totally misspelled it. So in this case, the teacher might go in and adjust that and say, we're getting there, but you misspelled the name, and it's King George, has a number after it. I don't know offhand. What is it? Look at the suggested answer, King George the 6th. My Roman numerals aren't perfect, but King George the 6th. So that was the suggested answer. So then again, of course, as a teacher, you can go in and give that feedback. You can scroll down here. 1952 was the wrong answer. It was 1953. So of course, the student received a 0 for that. And what was, here's a 100% answer that the Ellii bot scored. The student wrote, she studies law and history, even though I put the wrong tense. in the answer purposely, the Ellii bot is recognizing, hey, they get it, they understand, so we're going to give this 100%. Teacher can still go in and add that feedback related to how the answer has been constructed and say, well, it was past tense, she studied, or she had studied, if you want to go even further. So you can see here, now this one, Ellii bot was far more generous than I would have been. Who did Elizabeth Mary? The student answered her husband.
Yeah, Ellii bot has surprised all of us a lot, and we're still working on it. It is a beta, open beta, that you can opt in, so you don't have to use it. But we hope that you'll opt in so that we can learn more from how well the AI is doing. Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly pass it on to Anne to finish up because we're running out of time. Anne has one more that she's going to show. Jen, you're going to show it on your screen, I think.
I'm doing that right now. So Anne, just you can get us started what we're talking about.
Okay, sure. Well, what I'd like to show you is how we've made our comprehension tasks simpler for students on our digital platform. And these tasks include multiple choice, true, false, and open-ended. So here is what students would see in our first slide, what they used to see until just a few weeks ago. This is a question taken from our That's News to Me section from the Associated Press. And the question was, how would you describe Salman Rushdie based on his appearance in the photo? So students would first read the question, and then they would click on the view reference. Well, once they clicked on the view reference, the question and it would cover up the question and the space where they were supposed to type their answer. So what happened was that students had to toggle back and forth between the reference and the question. And it took up a lot of time, and it was frustrating for students who hadn't quite mastered the language and they wouldn't remember the specifics of the question, and they would have to constantly toggle back and forth. So we got a lot of requests from teachers to change this after we introduced the Ellii placement test and the Ellii placement quiz. So we decided to ask our developers and designers to fix this problem. And on our second screen, you'll see what they came up with. Now we have the reference on the right-hand side. We have the question on the left-hand side. They can read the question, look at the reference, and type as they're looking at the reference. So it's it saves a lot of time, and it saves a lot of frustration from students. So they're able to view a reference and not lose their place in the question.
Yes, I'm so happy about this new feature. I think we've been thanking our developers so much and wish we could be in person, and our designers for just finally getting to this. The speaking task specifically, it looks way better, especially if you're describing a picture or, sometimes we have a read aloud task where they have to, read the actual story. And so they can just read it and you don't have to click the button and then click the re-reference. So we're super happy about this. Okay, we put up a poll asking all of you what Ellii can do to make your lives simpler. I hope some of you have had a chance to look at it and fill it out. I think we're going to bring Lise back on, and she's going to share the poll if it's ready. Is it ready, Lise?
It is ready. So let's take a look here.
All right. Okay.
There we go. You guys are perfect. Can you see that?
Yep, we can see it.
All right. So it's live, and then it hasn't been ended yet, right? Is that right? Okay.
That's right. I haven't closed it, so you can still see the votes coming in. It looks like we got 68, 75. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so why don't you end it, and then we can have a quick look before we close off. All right. Woohoo, more video and interactive features, games and activities. Awesome. So games and activities is, I think, going to be like our 2023 goal. We've already been thinking that, so it's so nice to know we're on the same page as our teachers at Ellii. So thank you so much for participating in this chat. We're super excited for the whole conference, and I think Lisa's going to take us out and let us know where to go next. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having coffee with us this morning. Yeah. And thanks for everyone.
Ellii,